What's up, you guys? We're just gonna jump straight into it. This is just a team of Pokemon that I really like. There's no theme behind it or too much thought. It's just Pokemon I think are cool that I had ready, that I wanted to really use. So we're gonna send out our Cradilly to start off. I wanted to see if I could set up the Stealth Rocks right away. This person has a really good team, really powerful team. So I was hoping to set up the rocks so we can get rid of any focus stashes, because that would really suck. But they're gonna leave with the Aegislash here. And they're going to go straight for the Sacred Sword right away. Cradilly takes it not so great. This is a special defensive wall, not physical defense wall. But we do get the rocks up, and like I said, I think it's really important. So that's good that we got those up. But Cradilly is not going to be able to take another one of those, and I don't want to lose one of my defensive walls, turn 2 of the game. So we're going to swap out here and send in Rhyperior. This is a weakness policy Rhyperior with max HP and max attack. And we're gonna take that Sacred Sword really well, but actually it turns out to be a critical hit, so we can take it. We can probably take another 2 or 3 of those. This right here does have Solid Rock, so all super effective damage does 3/4 damage. That lets me get that up. And right here, I was debating whether to go for the Swords Dance or for the Earthquake right away, because these Aegislashes usually like to go for that, so the blocking move, whatever their protect move is called. But I do just go ahead and go for the Earthquake, as they are going to stance change and go into the King Shield. So, that sucks. I could have gone for the Swords Dance and gotten a free Swords Dance up, but I didn't want to make too risky of a play. Rhyperior can't take too many hits, and he's obviously slower than everything. So on this next turn, the Aegislash is going to stance change again, and they're going to go for another Sacred Sword. And I think I said this is max HP, max attack. I think this is max HP with a lot of special defense investment, and physical defense investment. But there goes the Earthquake, and it's actually going to take it out in one shot. So the Rhyperior, I think this is one of the main Pokemon I really want to use. I just really like the way it looks. It can hit really hard. It's got a cool ability, especially with the weakness policy. So Rhyperior is putting in work to start off the match, which is great. But my opponent here is going to send out the Lapras, and Rhyperior I don't think could live another hit from a Lapras, depending on what they do. So I was hoping they'd go for a water move, because this Cradilly has Storm Drain. So we swap out into Cradilly. And as you'll see, they're actually going to Dynamax their Lapras, or I guess G-Max their Lapras here, which is good and bad. This is great if they do go for that water move, because we can eat up 1 turn of Dynamax. But if they don't, and they're probably not, because they're probably going to go for that ice move it's got, that's really going to suck, because it gets the Veil up, and it's going to take out my Cradilly. So you have to go for the G-Max Resonance, and that's easy going to take out my Cradilly there. So we lose our special defensive wall pretty easily, pretty early in the match, which really sucks. So now I have to decide what I want to send in next from the free switch in. It's got to be something that can take a pretty good hit, and maybe take out this Lapras with a couple hits. So I decided to go into Electivire. Electivire's got some pretty good options. Obviously we got Thunder Punch, and I'm actually going to Dynamax my Electivire here, because this is a max HP Electivire, so I know I could take 2, maybe 3 hits from this Lapras, and then hopefully, I could hit it back 2 or 3 times. With the Veil up to take it out. I keep telling myself after I use Electivire that I gotta put a fighting move on him, so that when I Dynamax him, he has max luck and can set up a little bit, but I keep forgetting to swap out a move. I feel like I'm gonna get rid of Fire Punch probably, because I like Darkest Lariat every now and then, catch people off guard. But I'm gonna hit with the Max Lightning coming off the Thunder Punch, and actually gonna do really good damage with the Veil up, so that's gonna be a 2-hit KO, and we get the Terrain up. The Terrain doesn't really matter, I got really no Pokemon that can take advantage of the terrain, but it's up, and they're gonna go for the G-Max Resonance, and Electivire is gonna eat that up really well. This is a bulky boy. I could live maybe 2, maybe 2 more, definitely 1 more. But we're just gonna click Max Lightning again. There's nothing else we can do. They go for the Max Guard, and they're gonna stall out that last turn. But I guess that's a pretty good stall of the Lapras. We only lost Cradilly, which in all scheme of things isn't the worst. So we're going to click Max Lightning here a 3rd time, and we're going to be able to take out this Lapras. And we actually get the crit here, and that crit definitely matters, so I'm glad I got it when it matters most. And that's going to be our last turn of Dynamax 2. So after that Lapras goes down, the next victim for Electivire is going to come in, and it's going to be Gallade. I don't know if Gallade carries Earthquake or anything that can hit Electivire pretty hard, but I'm just going to decide to stay in. Electivire's on a roll. So I'm just going to go for the Thunder Punch here, and that does okay damage. The Veil's still up, but I think it's going to end soon. He's going to hit with the Ice Punch, and Electivire's going to eat that up well. This Electivire is swole. I think he works out with Machamp, that's why he's so big. But As you see here, the Aurora Veil is going to wear off, so I'm just going to go for the Thunder Punch because we outspeed as we learned from last turn. So I get the Thunder Punch off, and that's going to take out the Gallade. So I don't know why he swapped in that Gallade. What do you think he could have had on my Electivire? But we take it out easily, which is great. And Electivire, you know, he's on a roll right now. But this is where one of the stronger Pokemon that my opponent has comes out, and it's going to be the Cinderace. We do get the stones on Cinderace, so that does pretty decent damage. But I know I'm not going to outspeed here. I don't want to swap out into anything, so we're just going to leave Electivire Hint to die. As Cinderace here is going to go for the Giga Impact, so it's going to turn into a normal type, and that's easily going to take me out. You don't see Giga Impact Cinderaces very often, but I guess that's cool. So Electivire goes down. He did great. I really want to get the max luck on the Electivire, so we can, you know, set up a little bit more. But that's okay. I'll see if I can remember to finally switch that out. After looking through my team, I decided that Tangrowth is going to be the optimal Pokemon to send in here. After the Giga Impact, he has 1 turn of recovery, so that lets me get 1 free shot at a Sleep Powder here. And the Sleep Powder is going to land, so this is great. Cinderace is asleep. This is my max defensive wall. He can hit with the Fire move, but I think Tangrowth can hit, obviously, you know, it's going to take 2 hits to take out the Tangrowth. So Cinderace stays asleep as we go for the knockoff. And that's actually going to hit us with the recoil because that Cinderace had a Rocky Helmet. So it's a Rocky Helmet Giga Impact Cinderace. So now we're going to go for the Sludge Wave, or Sludge Bomb, as the Cinderace stays asleep on the second turn, which is great. So here comes the Sludge Bomb, and that does pretty good damage. 1 more Sludge Bomb is going to take out the Cinderace. Hopefully it stays asleep here so we don't take too much damage. But the Cinderace is going to wake up. They're going to go for the Power Ball, and the Power Ball does land. But check this out, guys. Tangrowth has so many vines and is so bulky that after this hit, which is actually a critical hit, Tangrowth is going to live, get off the Sludge Bomb, and take out the Cinderace. This was actually a huge point in the match because I don't think it had too many things that could outspeed the Cinderace, and it had nothing that could take a hit, I think, from the Cinderace. So Tangrowth, great job. Not everybody see the Tangrowth take out a Cinderace in a matchup, but this Tangrowth is built different. So now their next Pokemon is going to be the Melmetal, and I think this might be the first time I've faced the Melmetal online. It's pretty cool design. It's pretty good looking. But Tangrowth, obviously, probably not going to live a hit here with so little HP, and I don't want to swap out, so we're just going to let the Tangrowth take the hit here so we can get the free switch. Before that happens, Tangrowth's able to get a knockoff going. I didn't realize that Melmetal was so freaking slow. I think that's got to be one of the slowest Pokemon in the game. But we get rid of their item, which I guess, you know, that helps out a little bit. But here I'm going to make a misplay. I still didn't realize, it wasn't until after the match I looked up how slow Melmetal was. But I swapped in Inteleon. I probably should have gone into Rhyperior, because Rhyperior can still outspeed the Melmetal and get an Earthquake off and get a pretty decent hit in, and then swapped in the Inteleon. But I go with the Inteleon first. I go for the Surf. It does decent damage. But the Melmetal here with the double Iron Bash, actually they go for the Thunder Punch, it's just going to take me on 1 shot, which sucks. But now I can swap in the Rhyperior, and the Rhyperior can get the Revenge Kill on the Melmetal with an Earthquake, because like I said, I forgot, I didn't realize how slow this Melmetal was. And after that knockout, my opponent's going to be on their last Pokemon, where we still have the Rhyperior and the Scizor in the back with Bullet Punch, and it's pretty speedy. Their last Pokemon is going to be Regigigas. I am not familiar playing against this Regigigas, but I do know that it has the slow start, so usually they go for a lot of Protect and Substitute shenanigans. So I assume they're going for the Substitute, so I'm just going to go for the Earthquake here to knock out the Sub. And after that Sub gets knocked out, we're going to see that this Regigigas has leftovers, so they are just trying to stall out, obviously, the 5 turns of slow start, so they can try to have a chance to win here at the end in the late game. But now, after leftovers, they're going to go for the Protect. I thought about going for the Swords Dance. I thought about going for another Earthquake. I couldn't decide, but I just went up for the Earthquake just in case they decided to go for the Sub again. But they do go for the Protect. So after the Regigigas gets its leftovers and protected off of my Earthquake, I assume it's going to go for the Substitute. So I go for the Earthquake again, but they actually go for the Drain Punch. And surprisingly, Rhyperior lives the Drain Punch. Regigigas is going to get some health back here. And I'm actually going to get the Earthquake off. That did not do that great damage here. I'm going to need, 2, maybe 3 more. Depending on how much health it gains back from all its leftovers and Drain Punches. But next, this is where I really contemplated going for the Sword Dance. or for the Earthquake. I assume he's either going to Protect or go for the sub. Probably Protect, he doesn't have that much health left. So running out of move on my Earthquake. But there goes Regigigas. It does go for the Protect. I did go for the Swords Dance. So we're going to get a free Swords Dance off. So I think one more Earthquake might be able to take out this Regigigas here. It sucks that this part of the match is pretty stally. That's what Regigigas do. He's going for the Substitute. I think this is the 5th and final turn of that slow start. So after this turn, he's going to get his full stats. The Earthquake's going to take out the Substitute, and this battle's going to continue to have this slow pace, this slow stally pace. No wonder it's called Slow Start. But that's going to be the last turn of Slow Start, and Regigigas is finally going to get its act together. It's going to go for the Drain Punch, and that is going to take out my Rhyperior. So we're down to our final 2 Pokemon. We're going to have Scissor coming in, and now this is where I thought long and hard. I do have Sword Dance on the Scissor. I do have Bullet Punch, and then I have the other basic moves, you know. And I was trying to debate whether this Regigigas would go straight for an attacking move, or whether they would go for a Protect to see what I would do. So I thought long and hard, but I do decide to go for the Sword Dance here. And my opponent decided to go for the Protect, which is great. I just read this man like a book. Scissor gets off the free Sword Dance here, so one more hit's going to take out this Regigigas. We do outspeed, and the X-Scissor is going to knock out the final Pokemon. And that's the end of the match. I don't know if I needed that Sword Dance to be able to take out the Reggie. But I thought it was cool anyway that I read my opponent. And I don't really do that too often. I've been trying to play with that a little bit more. Trying to get better at it. But there you go, guys. That was a pretty powerful team they had. They had the Regigigas, the Cinderace, the Gmax Lapras. And we took them all out with Tangrowth and Electivire and a Weakness Policy Rhyperior. So don't be scared to use your favorite Pokemon on Wi-Fi battles and random online matches. If you do well, you know, you have a decent setup team, you do have a good chance of beating your opponent with no matter what Pokemon you're using. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.